Okay, anyone who's been in PR for a while knows the old grind, right? Mailing things, faxing, even those early wire services felt clunky.
Oh yeah, distribution was always the bottleneck.
But the sources we looked at for this deep dive suggest we're way past just tweaking things. AI seems to be fundamentally rewriting how press release distribution works.
That's really the heart of it. This is probably the biggest strategic jump PR has seen. We're looking at how AI moves things from, educated guesses.
This is something more like a predictive science.
Exactly. It's about how pros can now create, send out, and actually measure announcements in a way that makes large-scale personalization truly feasible.
So our mission here is to unpack how these AI tools aren't just doing tasks, but are actually learning. Learning from every single campaign, getting smarter about targeting, driving real results.
Right. And that shift lets the PR pro focus on the high-level stuff, the strategy.
Precisely. It's about efficiency, sure, but also understanding the how behind it and the risks, I suppose.
Definitely need to cover the risks, but also how you can personalize at scale without, losing that human touch.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Let's dive into the core tech making this happen.
Sounds good. It really boils down to two main pillars, machine learning and natural language processing, ML and NLP.
We hear those terms everywhere. Let's start with ML. How does machine learning take PR from guesswork to, well, prediction?
Okay, so ML is basically the engine that lets the system teach itself from massive amounts of data. It's not about rules we program in, it's about spotting patterns.
Patterns in what, exactly?
In successful press releases. When you feed a draft into a modern platform, the ML has already analyzed thousands, maybe millions, of past releases that actually got picked up by the media.
Ah, so it's comparing your draft against what's worked before.
Instantly.
Yeah.
It predicts your draft's potential appeal before you even send it. It looks at things like headline structure.
Like how long it is or the words used.
Exactly. Word choice,
Yep.
sentence length, overall tone, even the formatting. It's surprisingly subtle.
And it tells you how to improve it.
It gives concrete suggestions based on data, like tweak this headline this way. And historically, that boosts pickup likelihood by X%. It's data-driven optimization.
Okay, that makes sense for predicting success. Then where does natural language processing, NLP, fit in? Is that more about understanding the content itself?
Precisely. If ML predicts, NLP interprets. It's the tech that lets machines understand and even generate human language. Think way beyond just grammar checking.
So it actually gets the context of the press release.
Yes, that's the key.
Yep.
NLP parses the text to understand the core themes, identify key entities like companies or people, and even gauge the sentiment. Is it positive, negative, neutral?
So the system knows a new product launch is different from, say, a crisis communication statement.
Intrinsically, yes. And critically, it uses that deep understanding to match your release with the right journalist, not just based on keywords, but on their actual recent coverage history, their beat.
Wow. And you mentioned it can generate text, too.
It can. It can suggest alternative headlines or slightly rephrase body text to better match a specific outlet's style, all while keeping your main message intact.
So putting it together, NLP figures out what the release means, ML predicts how well it might do and suggests tweaks, and then automation sends it out.
That's the workflow. The human stays in charge of the core message, the creativity, the strategy, but the AI handles the heavy lifting on the data side.
Which is incredibly powerful. And that naturally leads us to improving the content itself and, crucially, the media targeting.
Let's tackle content first. Some sources mention AI helping draft initial versions, right? Pulling in keywords, keeping the brand voice.
Yeah, and I know the immediate fear there is, are we just going to get generic, robotic-sounding press releases, stuff no journalist actually wants to read?
That's a totally valid concern. And look, using AI to write the entire thing from scratch is probably not the best approach right now.
So how should we think about it?
Think of it as creating a really strong foundation, a solid first draft. The AI can look at successful structures, spin out maybe 10 headline options, a few different opening paragraphs, all in seconds.
But the human touch is still essential for the narrative, the unique angle, the strategic framing.
Absolutely crucial. The AI learns your style, sure, but the final creative calls, the strategic insight that has to come from the PR pro, it's augmentation, not replacement.
Okay, that's reassuring. So if the content foundation is stronger, let's talk targeting. Because, let's be honest, building media lists manually was painful.
Painful, tedious, and often based on outdated info or just guesswork. This is where AI makes a night and day difference.
How so? Is it just faster database searching?
It's faster, yes, but it's also vastly smarter. AI systems analyze huge databases, sure, but also scrape recent articles, track social media activity, monitor coverage patterns, all in real time.
So it goes beyond just, this journalist covers tech.
Way beyond. It identifies journalists who've written about very similar niche topics recently, maybe you mentioned your competitors, shown consistent interest in your specific industry angle, even someone who just moved to a new beat that's now relevant.
I read something about the level of detail in the journalist profiles these tools build. It sounded almost invasive. What are they looking at?
It is incredibly detailed. They look at writing frequency, preferred topics, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but also the engagement levels on their past stories, how widely read were they, follower demographics on social media, even historical response rates to pitches similar to yours.
Wait, hold on. Historical response rates
Yeah.
and suggesting the best time to pitch someone.
That's the predictive power kicking in again.
Yeah.
Based on past interactions, maybe not even yours, but aggregated data, it can suggest this journalist seems most responsive on Tuesday mornings, or avoid pitching them late Friday.
Okay, that level of precision is, wow, it really cuts down on wasted effort sending pitches into the void.
Exactly. It dramatically increases the odds of your carefully crafted message actually landing in front of the right person at the right moment.
Which brings us neatly to automation and efficiency. If the AI handles targeting and timing like that, what does that mean in practical time-saved terms?
The time savings are enormous. Think about segmenting lists, personalizing email intros, scheduling sends across time zones. AI automates all that.
Do we have any sense of the scale, like hours saved per campaign?
One source gave a pretty stark comparison. A PR pro manually managing, say, 50 contacts for a release might spend 2 or 3 hours just on the distribution and scheduling part.
Okay.
With AI-powered workflow automation, that same task might take 15 or 20 minutes.
That's huge. That's hours freed up per campaign. So the strategic implication is massive, right? That time shifts away from admin.
And towards high-value work, relationship building, strategic planning, counseling leadership, the stuff AI can't do.
But this sounds almost too good to be true. If the efficiency is that great, there must be downsides. Where does over-automating lead us?
Ah, yes. Here's where it gets really interesting and potentially dangerous.
Dangerous how? If the AI is so smart, why not automate everything, including follow-ups?
Because you risk seriously damaging those crucial media relationships. Journalists get hundreds of pitches. They can spot generic, mass-blasted content a mile away, even if the topic is technically relevant.
It feels impersonal, robotic.
Exactly. It screams, I haven't done my homework on you. And you lose the nuance. You miss the chance for a personalized follow-up based on something they just tweeted, or the opportunity to quickly re-angle the story if their focus shifted.
So the risk isn't just being ignored, it's actively annoying the people you need to connect with, building a bad reputation.
Precisely. Prioritizing volume over relevance is a fast track to the spam folder and strained relationships. The human touch, the judgment call, is irreplaceable there.
So the balance is key. Use AI for the mechanics, list building, scheduling, maybe initial tracking.
But keep human oversight and judgment for the final personalization, the outreach strategy, and especially those critical follow-up interactions. It's a hybrid approach.
That makes sense. You need that quality control. Okay, so the release is out using this smart, targeted, semi-automated process. How does AI change how we measure success? Let's talk real-time performance.
This is another revolutionary shift. We're moving away from purely retrospective reporting, compiling clips a week or a month later.
You're seeing results as they happen.
Pretty much. AI platforms track key metrics continuously. Impressions, reach, click-through rates on links, social shares, actual media pickups. It's all updating on a dashboard in near real time.
Okay, those are the quantitative metrics, but I was really struck by the potential for deeper qualitative insights, especially sentiment analysis.
Yes, sentiment analysis is huge. It's about gauging the public reaction. Is the overall tone of the conversation around your announcement positive, negative, or neutral?
How does it do that? By scanning comments in social media.
Exactly. It analyzes comments on articles, social media posts, forum discussions, mentioning your news. All across the web, it gives you a real-time pulse check on public perception.
And the value there is agility, right? You can react quickly.
Absolutely. If you see a particular angle resonating positively, you can lean into it in follow-ups. If unexpected negative sentiment starts bubbling up around a minor point,
You can address it immediately before it snowballs into a crisis.
that's the power. Speed and insight. And because it's often presented in consolidated dashboards, you spend less time compiling reports and more time acting on the data.
Okay, the advantages are clear efficiency, precision, real-time insights. But with any powerful AI processing lots of data, we have to talk challenges, ethics, compliance.
Absolutely critical conversation. First off, data privacy. These tools handle a lot of journalist data, audience info, compliance with GDPR, CCPA, whatever's relevant locally. It's not optional, it's mandatory.
Got it. Responsible data handling is table stakes. What about the algorithms themselves? The black box problem?
That's a real challenge. If the AI recommends targeting journalist A, but not journalist B, and it's not clear why, how do you question that? How do you ensure it's not missing something?
You're trusting the machine's logic without fully seeing it.
Which can stifle creativity or strategic intuition sometimes. And relate to that is the risk of bias.
Bias in the AI, how?
Well, AI learns from data. If the historical data it's trained on past successful campaigns primarily favored certain types of publications or demographics.
The AI might just perpetuate those biases, unintentionally exclude diverse or emerging media outlets.
Exactly. It could inadvertently narrow your reach or reinforce existing inequities in media coverage. The PR pro needs to be constantly vigilant, questioning the recommendations and the data feeding the system.
That requires a new level of critical thinking about the tools themselves.
Okay, looking forward then, what are the next frontiers? Where's this tech heading?
Well, if we're at hyper-targeting now, the next step seems to be true hyper-personalization.
Meaning even more granular. Yeah, beyond just matching topics. Imagine crafting messages that speak directly to a journalist's unique perspective, their known writing style, maybe referencing a specific point they made in a recent piece. It's about pitching the individual human, powered by deep data insights.
And it seems we're moving beyond just text, right? Multimedia is becoming easier to integrate.
Definitely. AI tools are emerging that can automatically generate short video summaries from your text release, or suggest relevant podcast clips, or create interactive infographics.
And even recommend the format based on the recipient.
Yeah, recommending formats based on what platforms that journalist or outlet seems to favor, making the pitch more engaging and easier to digest.
Finally, you mentioned predictive analytics earlier. That sounds like the crystal ball everyone wants.
It's getting closer. This is about forecasting which story angles are likely to get the most traction before you even launch.
How? By analyzing the current news cycle.
Exactly. Analyzing trending topics, competitor moves, the overall media climate, the AI could suggest, hold this announcement 24 hours, or reframe this angle to focus on X because topic Y is currently saturated. It helps optimize timing and messaging for maximum impact.
Okay, let's try to pull this all together. What's the big takeaway here?
I think the key thing is that the future isn't about AI replacing PR pros. Not at all. It's about amplifying their strategic capabilities.
So AI handles the heavy lifting, the data crunching, the logistics, the pattern spotting.
Right, and that frees up the human professional to focus on what humans do best. Crafting compelling narratives, building genuine relationships through emotional intelligence, exercising strategic vision.
The role shifts, doesn't it? From distribution manager to storyteller and strategist.
Absolutely. You leverage the tech, but your value lies in the empathy, the creativity, the cultural relevance you bring. Those are things AI, at least for now, can't replicate.
So success in this new landscape means being tech-savvy and deeply human.
That's the blend. You need both.
Which leads to a really interesting question for you, the listener, to think about.
Go on.
If AI gets increasingly good at analyzing sentiment, generating decent content, predicting outcomes, will the ultimate measure of PR success start to shift? Will it move away from purely technical metrics like clicks and reach and focus more intensely on that unquantifiable human element? You know, the authentic connection, the trust, the cultural resonance, things that maybe only you can truly build and measure, something to keep experimenting with as these tools evolve.